I hope I have enough storage on my phone to really record what I'm about to say here. And it may look like I'm smiling, and maybe that's not what it looks like on the outside, but internally, this one hurts. You know, there are certain things in life that are worth trusting the process for. Term that was coined by Joel Embiid when he went to the 76ers. Before he got there, the 76ers were 10-72. I think it was the worst record ever in the NBA. And what did he say? He said, trust the process. We're going to get back together. We're going to bring this team back. We're going to do it through draft picks, through free agency. We're going to pick up some players, get a coaching staff, and develop this team into something greater. And what'd they do? They got Joel Embiid. They got Ben Simmons. Picked up a couple other players from free agency in the draft. Got a good coach. Made the playoffs. They were one fadeaway Kawhi Leonard prayer in Toronto for making the Eastern Conference Finals. That was trusting the process. Okay? There was a reason behind that. Because what did you see? You saw a substantial improvement year after year after hitting rock bottom. Now, what does this mean? Why am I giving you that example? Well, for those of you who don't think Clemson has already hit rock bottom, you're wrong. 2015, I believe it was, NIT, 2 seed in the NIT. That's not fantastic. But hey, it was postseason basketball, and it's Clemson basketball. It's Clemson basketball team, you're not usually used to postseason basketball. Doesn't matter what tournament it's in. You get to watch the Tigers play for an extra 5-6 games, hopefully, at the max, after the season ends. You got to be pretty happy with that. Playing at home. Take the lead into halftime. Playing Oakland. Yes, there's a college named Oakland. And I'm pretty sure it's in Oakland, California. But again, it's Oakland. Who knows where they are? It's Oakland. Playing at home, in front of a home crowd. Not very many people there, but then again, it's the NIT. Normal, rational people don't care when the team puts out a subpar performance night in and night out. But I digress. Have the league going into halftime. Come out in the second half flat. Lose the game to Oakland. Lose at home in the NIT to Oakland. That was rock bottom. That was rock bottom. It doesn't get any worse than that. It seriously does not get worse than losing to Oakland at home as a 2 seed in the NIT. With a veteran leadership core. You had Noko, Rod Hall. I think that was the year after McDaniels. You had a lot of talent on that team. Marcus Harrison. But what have we seen since then? And I know I've gone over this in the previous video. Nothing. Really haven't. And enough is enough. It's one thing to trust the process. It's the whole nother thing to believe the manipulation and subscribed to the idiotic philosophy that continually deceives you into thinking that change is near. People get mad about politics for this exact reason. Politicians get up on stage and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this for you. Trump said he was going to repeal Obamacare. Trump said he was going to build the wall. Neither one of them happened. Biden had talked about no tax cuts or no tax increases. That's going to happen. Former president in the 70s or 80s that said no tax cuts or no tax increases. There was a massive tax increase. Politicians lie. And people don't trust them. People don't trust car salesmen, realtors, or politicians. And there's a reason why. Because it's one thing when you get fooled once. Fool me once, shame on you. It's one thing to get fooled. Fool me twice, shame on me. How many seasons do we have to watch? We're going to get fooled again. Every single year. It's a disappointing outcome after a disappointing outcome. Again, it's one thing to believe and trust the process. Clemson grit. We're going to subscribe to a really hard philosophy where we preach defense and horrendously bad offense, which is predicated on taking random chunks of the game for 5 or 6 minutes at a time and having zero offensive philosophy and barely getting up a shot. It's one thing to miss shots. It's a whole nother thing to not even get the shot up, It's a whole other, dribbling off your foot, throwing the ball out of bounds, landing out of bounds, giving the ball to, you name it, I've seen it. Watching Clemson basketball. You name it, I've seen it. And I'm done. I can't do it anymore, people. I watched enough of this program. Watched it since 2012. I was 10 years old. 2013, I was 11 years old. Think about that. I'm now 19. I've watched 9 years, 10 years, 11 years of it. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I've seen so much mediocrity. Switch hands here. I've seen so much mediocrity coupled with the every once in a while lightning in a bottle make the tournament. My God, you would hope you would at least win one game. Didn't tonight. Lost to Rutgers, team who hadn't made the tournament since 1991 and had won a tournament game but even longer before that. Nope. Lost to Rutgers. Rutgers. And let's be real, did anyone watch that game? No. And for the few people that did watch it, when you go back and look at that tape, no team won that game. Neither one of the teams on that floor won the game. Neither of the teams on the floor wanted to win the game. It was just about who wanted it less. Who wanted to lose more? That's what it was. Rutgers was awful. I know I'm not one to talk right now, but Rutgers was horrible. Rutgers will probably lose by 50 to Houston. They were awful. They can't make a free throw to save their life. They had 2 chances late in the game where they could have put Clemson away and didn't do it. Had an 11-point lead with 7 minutes to go and let Clemson tie the game. Rutgers is horrible. But for every point that Rutgers was bad, Clemson was worse. It's just not that hard. And it's really disappointing. And you buy into this philosophy of grit and toughness, and we're going to play really hard defense, we're going to rebound, and that's how we're going to build our program. We're going to build our program around something we can be proud of, we can be prideful about, right? Sounds all right. Watch the film. Watch the games. When I first started following Clemson basketball really heavily, the players I watched were Jordan Roper, Rod Hall, Sidi Jate, Landry Noko, KJ McDaniels, DeMarcus Harrison. Think about this. Those were the main ones, right? And you would watch them come out on the floor. Milton Jennings, that's another one. Watch them come out on the floor. They looked like they were pissed off. They looked like they had been beaten. They looked like someone had stole their money. They come on the floor, they're not happy, they're not joyous, not jumping around. They're not eager to get on the court. They just look mad. And I know people out there don't understand this. Watch the games. They just look mad. Where have we seen the program go since then? So we started out at mad, where all the players just look pissed off. Okay? And now we're seeing the players just not care. Again, watch the film tonight. How many times would Rutgers put up a 3 that had no chance of going in? Absolutely none. We know they weren't going to go in. Rutgers is not a good team. No box outs. People standing there looking at the ball. No energy on the court. It's like they don't care. And what did Rutgers do in opposition to that? They got the crowd involved in it. Sure, there weren't that many people there. There may have been 1,000 people there at the most. Who wants to watch the game? It's with two terrible teams. But with the little crowd that was there, you saw Rutgers running around. You saw them hyping up the crowd. You saw them shouting out after making aggressive plays where they were basically these plays that are made off complete effort. Rebounds. Following your shot. Boxing out. Steals. And inbounds plays. These small plays in basketball make all the difference. And sometimes it's just about who can get faster to the screen. Are you going to set a hard and aggressive screen, or are you just going to go through the motions? One team went through the motions tonight, and that team lost. The other team played hard and acted like they wanted to be there and acted like they hadn't won an NCAA tournament game in 40 years. That's what one team acted like. The other team acted like they go to the tournament every year, and just doesn't matter because they've just checked off their boxes. We've done everything we need to do this year. What more do we need to do? We've already gotten here. We've gotten to the tournament. Shouldn't you be happy with that? That's the problem right there. That is the problem. You know? It's great to achieve goals. It is unbelievable to achieve goals. But where goals can trip you up is when you reach a goal and you say, nope, I'm not going to work hard anymore. I can't do it. Why do I care? Think about it this way. I'm an Econ 410 here at Carolina. We have 3 midterms, okay, and a final. 3 midterms and a final. One of the midterms drops, okay? One of the midterms drops. But you know what? That point right there, out the window. We don't need that. I made a 96 on the first midterm, okay? That was my goal. I wanted to make an A on the first midterm. And I was really happy with myself. I worked hard on it. I did well in the midterm. But what if I had said, after I made that 96, nope, I've checked off my boxes. I've done everything I needed to do. I don't need to study another thing. I don't need to do another worksheet in this class. I don't need to watch the lecture videos anymore. I don't even need to attend class. I've done everything I needed to do. You know how big of a waste that would be? Because instead of accomplishing my goals and using that as a springboard to get up even higher, to recognize and reach something even higher than what I potentially initially thought, I just stayed content with 1 grade on midterm 1. Who cares about midterm 2, 3 in the final? Who cares? I could get a C- on all those. But I've achieved my goal, haven't I? It's about perspective, people. When you reach a place in life where your only goal in life is to meet a specific goal and never achieve something higher than that, you've plateaued. And that is what we've seen in Clemson basketball. We've seen about as good as it can get, and we've seen about as bad as it can get. And unfortunately, the program is hovering over as bad as it can get with the occasional lightning in a bottle NCAA tournament appearance. I mean, heck, you would have thought that would be hard. Alabama is just the most obvious example of a football school, and they're a 2 seed. So don't give me this argument about how, the football program's amazing. You should just be content with that. Again, go back to my previous example. If your only goal in life is to just reach a certain level and never go above that, that's a terrible life. Life is about innovation. Innovation drives the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. You know? When Bill Gates created Microsoft, okay? When Bill Gates created Microsoft, obviously he created the software. But you know what he thought about afterwards? How can I improve this? How can I make this better? How can I take Microsoft into being one of the world's largest companies and most influential companies? Think about Bezos with Amazon. Started out with just an internet platform to buy things. Now look what Amazon's doing. They're in the shipping industry. They have their trucks. They have a plane, for crying out loud. Multiple planes. They even jumped into the area of COVID relief. Amazon, the next best thing. They're not worried about reaching a certain goal. It's never about just reaching a certain goal. It's more about not only reaching that goal, but also extending into greater and greater things. Folks, I've had enough. I can't do it anymore. Watching this program has taken so many years off of my life expectancy, in addition to all the other things. It's just not worth it anymore. At what point does mediocre basketball become worthy of your time? It doesn't. This is the problem of being a fan, because fans are irrational. Any rational and logical person would have said the exact thing that I'm about to say 5 years ago. They would have said what I'm just about to say, which I'm fixing to say what's going to shock you. 5 years ago. Would already been done. And you know what? They'd probably be relaxing on a beach with a nice Corona with lime. Of course, it's got to be with lime. Smoking the breeze. Relaxing. Enjoying the extra 10 years added to their life by quitting watching Clemson basketball at a specific time. It's not worth it, folks. You can't do it anymore. I cannot do it anymore. I put up with it. I've defended it. I've argued for it. I've watched it. But eventually, enough is enough. So now that I've talked for almost 17 minutes, it's 16:50. I'm fixing to say something that not a lot of y'all maybe would have thought. But I've had enough. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I am officially announcing my retirement from Clemson basketball fandom until a new coach is hired for the men's basketball program. It's enough. There's enough resources. There's a large enough fan base. Other sports are succeeding. It's in a beautiful part of the world. And there's talent in the state of South Carolina, in Charlotte, and in Northeast Georgia. There is talent in all three of those areas. It's not worth it anymore, people. It's just not. And to those of you who are still watching, I really do appreciate it. We've been on a heck of a ride. I didn't think I would make it this far, I'll be honest with you. The ups and downs, the roller coaster. I can't do it anymore. It's come to an end. And all good things must come to an end. But as I look back and I reflect, was this really a good thing? Sure, there were some highs, but there were a lot of lows. And some of those lows were really, really deep. And it's tough. It's an end of an era. But sometimes you have to break away from the things that just want to take you, rip you apart to shreds. So that's what I'm doing. I'm removing myself from something I know will continue to disintegrate me until a new men's basketball coach is hired. Folks, enough is enough. Thank you. Brownell must go. And the day that he goes will be a better day and will give a new trajectory that is desperately needed for the Clemson basketball program. Thank you, and go Tigers.